We also had an entire section devoted to technology, and I spent some time sharing state-of-the-art research on marketing approaches, and it is just a fact that in today's world, a majority of consumers of all products first go to the internet to inform themselves before they walk out the door and start testing products or going to actual communities. They want to learn about, especially if they haven't lived in the city before or they're thinking about moving to a different section of the city, they first want to learn about the locations, then they want to go to the community websites, and they want to see a lot of information on the website before they get up and turn up at the property. So having a website that is sharply distilled, that is clear and effectively communicating your amenities and your location advantages, lots of pictures, sharp resolution pictures, and real-time information about availabilities is my first advice to people, and I think it's really changed the way that people find units. In fact, we had in our respondent base, 62% of people said that the first thing they did was go to the web as opposed to driving around looking for projects. So that gives you an indication of how much that's moved. Last year it was 35%. So that's a really big deal. Equally important is how landlords are using the internet or email, but some kind of online presence to communicate with their tenants. One of the more popular amenities, in fact, half of all people who had it were using it, is a community newsletter that is electronically conveyed. And it's only 28% of the projects in Canada actually have that amenity, so it's a real differentiator for the communities that do. The number one complaint that tenants had about their landlords, who, by the way, got fabulous satisfaction ratings, like 70% of Canadians are very happy with their managers, so this is a small problem, not a big problem, was that they can't pay online and they can't communicate online to their landlords, and they want to. So these are right now totally relevant technological aspects of how our whole way of life is evolving into the online world, and landlords need to catch up to the tech savviness of their tenants, because it's now at the point of being an irritant. They want to pay online, they want to communicate service needs online, and they want to find out what's going on in the neighborhood and the region from their landlord online. So in sum, there's lots of other aspects I could spend some time on, but those are the most important that showed up in our survey today.
I think technology is a fascinating feature. I think technology changes so fast that in the next 5 years, the technology that we have today will be very different than in 5 years out. So trying to forecast what technology would be is going to be very difficult. Having said that, I think you need to have buildings that are adaptable to new technology. So, the iPhone 5, 10, 15 years ago, we thought the BlackBerry was the best thing. It's basically obsolete now, and the iPhone is the gadget. And then in 5 years, that might not be the case. But I think you need a building that allows you to adapt to new technology. So smart metering for utilities, more Wi-Fi in the building, different things that for me, I wouldn't even know about. But I think you have to have an open mind to new technologies that they come every 2 years.
I think as more managers adopt technology, I'd like to say that a rising tide lifts all boats. It becomes competitive. And if your competitor is making it easier for renters and residents to be in the community, I think that forces yourself as a manager to kind of look around and see what you're doing. And I think it only benefits the industry as a whole, that there needs to be more sophistication and more technology in this industry. So I think these are only good things, and it's only a benefit to everyone within our industry. And it's an exciting time to be part of it.
Technology is having a phenomenal impact in our industry right now. On the rental side, there's Kijiji, you have that Craigslist. You're using a lot of different ways to rent their units. I think you're having sort of ability for online payments to happen. I think there's partnerships with grocery stores, dry cleaning, other services. I think those are all great, and they're all technology-based. You're also having companies that are providing sort of a link to Yardi where you can call in and you can get what complaints are about. how issues are being dealt with so that you can benchmark and know whether you're dealing with your tenants properly. A lot of this is about service. On the other side, we're seeing, I don't think they're negative, but they're certainly challenging. We're seeing crowdfunding, and that can be helpful or not. And we're seeing the impact of Airbnb. I think a lot of communities and cities are banning that process in terms of short-term rentals, so I think it's having a lesser effect.
I think technology is an exciting opportunity for all of us as developers, owners, to understand much better and quicker what our clients' needs are and what they want, and therefore we can respond to that in a much quicker way than we've ever been able to deliver top-notch product that our tenants need.
I'm a commercial real estate broker, so technology is a big part of our business. How we get the message out there, the speed at which we can do things compared to how we did things 20, 30 years ago is incredible, right? The data that's available to you to make decisions, the use of GIS technology, in terms of doing feasibility studies to present massive amounts of data to apartment owners and to lenders is pretty significant. Right? You can make a case today on paper to build an apartment building. In terms of the industry itself, the beauty about rental apartments is you can't export an apartment, right? Whereas you can export, look what happened to travel agencies with the internet, right? I mean, radiologists today, you can take an x-ray today, send it over to Asia, and it can be read overnight, and the next morning, you've got the results here, right? That can't happen with an apartment. That's the beauty of this business, right? In fact, I would think that with more people being sort of telecommuters and working from home, now they're not home 16 hours a day, they're home 24 hours a day. So they might take that money and put that into an apartment. So I think that technology will result in better buildings being built, right? They'll result in certainly more technology in the building, communicating, with the owner and things like that. But I don't think that there's a disruptor in a positive way. And typically when we think about disruptors, we think about them in a negative way, right? They come and sort of kill the business. The apartment business is going to stick around.